All right, folks, here we have it. Your name is, sir?
Michael Amaydo.
Michael Amaydo. And there's also a certain personality with you as well. You want to introduce them as well?
Lars Madison. Nice
How's
to
it
meet you.
going, Lars? There we go. All right, so Mike, Lars, wherever I'm talking to here. So I have a couple of questions for you if you want to ask to these people here. I wanted to ask, first off, how long have you been in professional wrestling?
Professionally now 8 years.
8 years.
And I've been doing like amateur wrestling since I was a kid.
Okay, cool. I was a fellow amateur wrestler as well, so that's nice to know somebody has done the same.
I love wrestling people like that.
Right. So, what actually got you into professional wrestling? Like, do you have any favorites growing up? People that idolize you?
As long as I can remember, I've always watched wrestling. There's pictures of me with like the Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
And I remember watching Marty Jr. get thrown through the barbershop window. And then I never knew like how, when that was, because I was a kid. I found out I was like 3. So like my earliest memories have wrestling involved. So I went to Somerset Heart and Soul with my dad in the Meadowlands. Okay. And I told him then I was going to be a pro wrestler. And then from that point on, everything I've done led to wrestling.
So what led to the actual character of Mike's video and also Lars? How did that start?
Lars has been with me forever, I just didn't realize it.
Right.
But he really came out one day when I had a bad day of training. And I did horrible. And I went home, started drinking with my friend, said something like, one day I'll be so good I can manage myself. And then he went, that's it, that's your character. That's where it led to. I started managing myself.
Right, because you're very known in the independent scene as well. I believe you've been on big promotions such as Impact Wrestling, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Briefly extra stuff.
A little extra.
Some squash matches.
So can you name some places where you have been so that people don't know who you are? You know?
I've been in ACW, PPW, done extra work for almost every major promotion now. SCWA, did so many, I don't even remember all of them. Yeah, it was today. Titan Championship Wrestling, SWF, Capital Wrestling, Apex Wrestling, there's a bunch.
Okay. A couple of questions and we're going to wrap this up. In the state of professional wrestling as of today, do you feel that there's a lot of things within the business that's lacking as far as character, charisma? Because before we get into that, a lot of people, when we have conversations about wrestling, they love more of the older days as far as like the golden age with WWE or Attitude Era, or if they like different perspectives of like indie wrestling, like ROH or something. Is there anything that you feel that's lacking within professional wrestling as of today than it was compared to years ago?
Yeah, it's professional wrestling, and we're lacking the wrestling.
Okay.
Like, even though I have a manager that I talk to all the time, it's still missing the wrestling.
Right.
A lot of stuff you see is more character, not the wrestling.
Okay.
So I think it's missing the wrestling.
Okay. One more question and then we're going to wrap this up. If you have any advice that you can give to anyone that's at the age that they want to start professional wrestling, male or female, is there any words of wisdom or advice that you would give them that they want to start this?
Know what you do if it don't pan out. If you end up not making millions of dollars in WWE or making a good living on the indies or anything like that, have a plan to be able to support yourself. You don't want to just throw all your eggs in this basket, because wrestling, you can be healthy today, hurt forever tomorrow. So know what you are going to do after wrestling. And even during it, you got to be able to support yourself.
Right. That's good. I agree with that. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up. All I need you to do is tell everyone your social media following so they can follow you as well.
Michael's Amaydo on Facebook.com or Michael's Amaydo on ProwrestlingTees. Go ahead and buy yourself a Jacknut shirt or Michael's Amaydo King of Maryland shirt. But I'm on ProwrestlingTees. You can find me under Michael's Amaydo, MichaelsAmaydo, or Lars Madison, LarsMadison.
Alright, so that was Lars, everybody. Lars and Michael Amaydo. I want to thank you for doing this. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. Alright guys, so we have here, what's your name, sir?
Yo, they call me the Red Dawg, but Clifford Miller. Like, that's who I am for real. But yeah, Red Dawg is.
So this is Clifford, Red Dawg it is, as he said. We are here in Glendale, West Virginia. We just had a show not too long ago. So we're trying to speak as loud as we can because there are a lot more people here. Some questions that I want to ask because mainly some people will probably be very interested in you and your future because you started off tonight very blazing with your match, which congratulations, by the way, that match was very awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
So I'm quite sure the people want to know. How long have you been doing this so far?
Yeah, actually, I'm going on 18 months.
18 months.
Yeah, so relatively new. It's kind of crazy, man, because like I started off, I was in the military from 2006 to 2012.
Okay.
And then my wife and I, we moved all around from there.
Okay.
And I just ended up like in Maryland, and then just the rest is kind of like I found some friends who were doing background, and they pushed me over to start training.
Yeah.
And like one thing led to another.
So within that 18 months, were there any hard parts that came with the training, or did you flow with everything? Like, what can you tell about your experience while you were training?
Yeah, so actually two things happened, man. One, COVID. Because COVID like dead stopped everything, man. It wasn't good. But then what was crazy is that when things started opening back up, when we started training again, I was actually supposed to make my debut here.
Right.
And then I messed up a 3/4 roll and actually tore the lower abdomen.
Right.
And when I tore my lower abdomen, that was it.
Oh.
Hey man, that was fun.
All right, no problem. Sorry about that.
But yeah, so I tore my lower abdomen and I was out with sports hernia for like 8 weeks. And so like I couldn't train, couldn't work, nothing. So I was out.
Okay. So follow-up question with that. It's a two-part question, but if you want to answer just one way, you can. Do you have any favorite wrestlers that you idolize, or had any wrestlers that gave you the idea that you wanted to start out professional wrestling? Like, what actually what did you yearn for to want to start?
So it's funny, man. My aunt was actually the reason why I got into wrestling.
Okay.
So I sat Saturday morning, WWF. I was watching. It's crazy, right? So the moment that got me in was when Macho Man Randy Savage was tied up in the ropes, and Jake the Snake Roberts let his cobra bite him. Like that's what drove me into the business. And so what makes it funny though is that I kind of fell out because I just wasn't watching wrestling. But then I got back into WCW Saturday Night Main Event.
Okay.
And I saw this guy, this little dude, just doing like moves like crazy, like springboards everywhere, right?
Right.
And then I found him the following Monday on Monday Nitro.
Okay.
In Panama City, Florida.
Okay.
And he was wearing all pink.
Right.
It ends up being Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. I was like, he's sound like he's like Rey Mysterio. Okay.
Yeah, so Rey Mysterio ended up becoming my favorite wrestler of all time.
Mine too, as well.
Yeah, and then like after him, it was Chris Jericho, because I remember him as the Lionheart.
Right.
And like his work was like very inspirational, and I was really excited seeing him wrestle too. And the way like he just like could float in and out of character and reinvent himself, like he just continually like made me want to like watch the business.
Okay.
So if I had to say like my two people that like make me want to continue wrestling, it's Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho.
Okay. All right. I love that answer very so much because I can say somewhat the same because especially for Rey Mysterio, he eluded my way of just doing the cruiserweight style, and as a smaller individual, that's what I love so much about it. So we're gonna wrap this up and ask a couple more questions. Since you've been in the game for like 18 months, I will ask, what do you think is lacking in professional wrestling as of today? Is it like the gimmicks or the characters? Because I'm asking everybody the same question because we know that a lot of people love the golden age era of professional wrestling, and they also like attitude era. A lot of people love the older stuff, but they complain about like the new age, as far as wrestlers not having character, not having charisma, not having things that stick. So what do you think is lacking as of today that's compared to what we used to have?
So I'll be honest, man, I don't think it's the characters, and I don't think it's like the charisma. So I think there's a lot of guys out there that have like great charisma and great character. I think for me, the one thing that's lacking is like good storytelling. And I'm talking about like, not these like short stop like stories that are going on, but once you get to like the 4-month mark, you tell like these good four-month stories that really get people drawn into the characters themselves. So to me, it's like storytelling is really missing. Right. And I think if for wrestling, and we're talking like big ones, like even AEW has that problem, WWE has that problem.
Yeah.
But good storytelling will like always drive people to want to watch more for the characters. So that's my thing, man. This is good storytelling. It's just what's missing.
All right. One more question, and we're pretty much going to wrap this up. So I'll ask you, if you could give any advice, even though you've been in it for 18 months, but I'm quite sure that you can give advice just as much. If there was anyone that watched this and wanted to actually try out and be a professional wrestler, male, female, doesn't matter who it is, are there any words of wisdom or advice for someone that's just like you that just recently started? Is there anything you want to, tell them?
Yeah, so there's 3 things that so I have a show too where I do interviews and I ask people for advice all the time.
3 Spots Podcast. Right?
Yeah, 3 count. 3 count podcast.
My bad.
Yeah.
3 Counts Podcast, which they also had me on as well. We already spoke to Pure Ignorance earlier. They plugged that in as well.
Yeah. So on the show Now Ancient Ring, that's my favorite thing to ask is that question because I always find out the same things, right? One, it's always, find a good school and train. Train, right? Number 2 is the one thing I love, and this is something I hear all the time. You have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth, okay? Eyes open, ears open, mouth shut, all right? And the other one that hasn't really been talked about, but it's one I suggest, bring a notebook. Bring a notebook to take notes. Taking notes is important because not only will you will forget everything that you're learning in the business. It happens, right? But if you take notes and you understand like what you're writing, you can build so much more, right? So you can build your character, you can understand how your character evolves, you can understand what moves that you've learned, what moves that you're working on. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And then when you go to like merchandise and stuff like that, you can refer back to your notes and be like, all right, bet this is what I've learned so far in the business. So it's very important to take notes. So always take notes and always ask for advice. That's the biggest thing I always tell people.
Yeah, the more things that you ask, the better knowledge and wisdom that you get, especially with the notebook and especially with the merchandise. I love that answer, especially because a lot of people just don't think that. You think, find a good school or train hard doing this and stuff like that, but you have to take notes, folks. If you want to really do this, you have to understand the business, understand merchandise, the business, everything, because it might not work out one day and maybe you might have something on the side that you can actually really work on. But you got some experience with the wrestling, you can take it elsewhere on the outside. You never know. But anywho,
I was gonna say because there's something else though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when for me especially, like going through learn how to merchandise, learn how to like find my characters and stuff like that. Taking notes is important. Like, and then like for me, like I do what's called the Red Dog Power Rankings every week on our debate show. So I have a top 10 list of every match I watch. But I watch so much wrestling, I started picking and choosing like what I wanted to add into my book. So like I love throwing spine busters, right? But how did I learn that? Well, I watched Arn Anderson do it. I watched Ron Simmons do it, right? So I know different wrestlers to throw them well. Dax and Cash Wheeler from FTR. So like you can pick up all this stuff and you can learn, and then you just add it to your character as you build your moveset up, right? I'm 5'10", like 210, and I can throw Ranas, and it's just because that's what Rey Mysterio did, so I like doing it.
There's bigger guys that's like bigger than you that can do all that stuff as well.
So, and don't. And the other one too. Don't be afraid. Don't think about it. Just do it. If you think, that's when you get in trouble.
Right. Okay. So love the answer. Very detailed. Great with a lot of knowledge and wisdom. But we're just gonna, if you could put all your social media platforms on here, advertise yourself so that people can follow you,
Yeah. So you guys can find me on the 3 Count Podcast. That's the 3 Count Podcast. You can either find us like our website, the3countpodcast.com, or you can go to the YouTube channel now because we finally got our own custom URL. So youtube.com/the 3 Count Podcast. Now, if you're looking for me individually, it's easy. It's the easiest thing to find. _Red Dawg, just like this, REDDAWG 85. All social media platforms. You can find me everywhere. So whether that's TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you just find that same handle everywhere. You guys can find me, and you can come chat with me. I'm pretty open too. Like if you come hit me on Messenger, I'll talk with you.
Yeah, guys, we're not like just preppy, ignoramuses when it comes to this. We're just like regular people, just like you. But I want to thank you for the questions that you answered. Everybody, this is the Red Dog, Clifford Mill. Look out for him in the future on the independent scene. This guy's gonna make it. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks.
All right, we got my man. Who are you, sir?
I'm PJ Parker.
PJ Parker. So PJ, man, I've known you for quite some time now. Mainly like over a year, maybe over 2 years. Yeah. I got some questions that I want to ask you. Maybe the fans can get to know you a little bit better, or if you already know him now. I mean, it's not gonna hurt to ask. But anyway,
Absolutely.
how long have you been doing this?
This is going on year 11. 11 years. Yep, long time.
So with those 11 years in the game, I do want to ask this question as well because it could have led up to something for all of those 11 years. So I'm going to ask up a follow-up question. What made you, or what was the reason that you started out to become a professional wrestler?
When I was younger, I remember flipping through the channels, and there was a replay of WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
And it was Jake the Snake Roberts versus Rick Martel in the blindfold match. And to see the way that they manipulated the crowd just by a point of the finger, I was hooked. I mean, I was hooked. I stopped flipping the channels. And ever since then, I've watched it. Always been a fan. I told my parents when I was a kid, I said I'm gonna be a wrestler one day when I grow up. Okay. I gotta say, I've lived the dream.
Okay. Do you have anybody that you idolize within professional wrestling?
I do.
Do you have any favorite matches that you play?
I do. My idol is Shane Douglas. To me, I think the franchise Shane Douglas is the GOAT. His in-ring work speaks for itself. His promos, his psychology, he revolutionized the business. To me, the wrestling business didn't have the word attitude until Shane grabbed the mic in 1994 and threw that NWA title down. And my wrestling career has come full circle. I was able to wrestle Shane Douglas.
Nice.
And it was unbelievable. And I got his stamp of approval. And it was... Blessed is the best way I can say for my wrestling career. I've had a couple ups and downs, had one big massive injury, but I can honestly say it has been just blessed. I've been blessed to be around a good group of veterans there's some veterans that don't like to train, teach the younger kids because they're scared to get in, giving up their spot. Man, I was blessed to be around people like Robbie and Illuminati, Adam Mugler, James Ellsworth, Mark and Jay Briscoe, Brandon Mercury, and I was just blessed to be around guys who did not mind teaching me, and again, I just keep coming back to it, blessed. Very blessed.
Okay, I'm just going to ask a couple questions that we're pretty much going to wrap this up. As far as today of professional wrestling, do you believe we can compare it to, because we like to have conversations, a lot of people have to have conversations about the golden age era of WWE, attitude era, ruthless aggression era. In the current state of professional wrestling as of today, what are your thoughts, or do you think anything that is lacking in professional wrestling in today's world?
I think they got away from what we're really here to do is the storytelling.
Okay.
There's certain storylines that go, but a lot of it's so scatterbrained. It's so all over the place. I love a good story. I love a good story. And like back in the day, I remember in ECW, they did the angle with Sandman, and where they put a cigarette out on his eye, and he lived the gimmick. He went and stayed at home for a month. His wife answered the door, she went and got the groceries, and when he came back, the pop that he got, it was unreal. It was absolutely unreal, and people get lost in the stories, and a lot of people overthink the stories. It's a rarity you see people go online or on any kind of social media and talk about, oh, that was a great match, they did this, they did that. It's always about, oh, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Look, we understand it's predetermined. I don't like using the word think. We understand that it's predetermined. But it's a show, it's a story. Let me get lost in it for a couple hours.
Dramatic theater.
And that's exactly what it is. And it's a lost art, it's the storytelling. That's my opinion.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask one question and we're pretty much going to wrap this up.
All right.
If you could give any advice to a younger person that's of age that can do this now, male, female, doesn't matter, do you have any words of wisdom or advice that you would give someone that wants to start out?
Stay humble, stay respectful, keep your nose to the grindstone, keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the game, never, ever, ever stop learning. Don't ever think that the wrestling business will ever stop because of you. It's all you are is a wheel in the sprocket, and it just keep going. Be yourself, be humble, have fun. That's the main thing. Have fun, and just be humble. Respect in this business will carry you so far. If you have a shitty reputation and a terrible attitude, you will have absolutely nothing, no chance in this business whatsoever. So my main advice, stay humble, be loyal, stay patient. It's not always going to go your way. It's not always going to be rainbows and unicorns. Stay patient and hard work, and like I said, just loyalty, and just stay humble. Stay humble. Don't ever think you're bigger than the game, and just be respectful. I mean, I know that's a long-winded answer, but I'm very passionate when it comes to this.
I think we need this. We need this.
And that's the main thing, because there's so many people that think, oh, well, they need to pay me this, they need to pay me that, or I should lose to him. Dude, come on. The wrestling business was around before you, it'll be around after you. You are not the end-all, be-all. Right? So just stay humble, be true to yourself, and always be a sponge. Just stay learning.
All right, so we're pretty much going to wrap this up here. If you can give everyone your social media platforms so they can follow you at.
I am on Facebook at PJ Parker, and I am recently on Tic Toc at PJ Parker 420. And we will go from there. I'm not on the Instagram yet. I'm not on the Twitter. I will get there eventually. I'm old school. I was late to the TikTok party. I never got a Facebook till like 2013, 2014. So I'm just a country boy. I'm late to the hip parties.
Okay. All right, man. So everybody, that's PJ Parker. I want to thank you, man, for doing this interview.
Always a pleasure.
Love you. Man.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, dude.
I want to thank everyone who participated in all 3 parts of these videos that I have given to the subscribers on my channel. And even if I ask the same amounts of questions numerous amounts of times, it's nice to always get different perspectives, views, and opinions and words of wisdoms, because a lot of people had different answers, more so maybe some people had the same, but at least you learned something. So that way, if you want to get into this business, you already have some knowledge here that you can pretty much look up to. And I want to thank those guys for participating in this, because, you know, it gives me a little bit of credibility and gives me, you know, a little bit of knowledge as well. And a lot of these guys are, you know, my close friends. You know, I have my trainer and everybody else. You know, we're all here to help each other. And even if there are people that just started out, you'll see them in the future. But there are also people that had long tenure of years into this business. You know, they shed blood, sweat, and tears and put so much dedication into this business that they'll pretty much do anything and everything for it to protect it and to keep it. So it's nice to always have those people around. So if you guys can do me a huge favor, go to the links in the description box below, follow all of their social medias, their Twitch accounts, their podcasts, whatever is down there. Go help support them. Even if they got merchandise, go help support them. I would very much appreciate it. And the only thing you got to do for me is like, share, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. It's just in a matter of seconds. Don't even take that long. If anything you can give to me, it's just those things. And we can keep on moving from there. Hopefully the channel will grow some more and we'll give more content. But as of right now, I want to thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys. And I'm out. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.